Hi guys, I'm currently editing this video right now, and I first just wanted to say, after watching this whole thing, to be honest, I hate doing these type of videos because I solely just want my content and my videos to be, for you guys to come to when you guys are sad, when you guys are crying, when you need a quick smile, when you need a quick laugh. And I feel like that's just my job as a content creator, and it makes me smile when I know people, if I could at least make some, like, one person, like, smile or laugh from watching my content, it makes me happy. But I feel like, with this video you're about to watch, it's not gonna be that. um but I also feel like I've been sharing my content my whole life with you guys since I've been doing this since I was 17, 18, and you guys have really became my family and my best friend. So it's only right for me to tell you guys this part of my life, and also because I haven't told you guys this, story. So yeah, I hope you guys can understand. I don't even know where to begin. I've been trying to film this video like for the longest, and I just couldn't do it because of the trauma it has put me in. And I'm also gonna try my best not to cry. I'm already sensing my body that, like, I want to get emotional, but I'm gonna really try my best because I really just want to get my story out there. I've been actually wanting to talk about this for the longest. I just couldn't do it because I didn't have the strength to do it, and I was just going through a lot, and I was really also going through it with the situation that I'm about to tell you guys. First off, I just want to say that this video is not going to be monetized because it doesn't feel right, and I really just want to get my story out there. And I don't know, I also really feel like this thing happened, this situation happened to me to also let people know that this is something that's that's possible, and there's people out there that exist that could do this. And I really just want to like give you guys my story and what I've been dealing with for the past, I mean, it's gonna be like 3 years now, but I would say like 2.5 years. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get emotional about this, because it really just took so much of my mental health. And I actually had to get a therapist like a month ago because I told myself that like me crying every other day isn't gonna solve this. So yeah, I had to get a therapist. It's been helping, but it hasn't really been also helping. But yeah, every day I wake up, what happened to me thinking about this, really, it has been really eating my soul away. And I don't know, like, my brain just, I just hate my brain sometimes too, because it reminds me of what happened. And I also have my phone here because I'm really forgetful, and I have like pictures, memories, proof, receipts. I'm also going to be putting it on the screen when I post this YouTube video. But yeah, I have this phone with me so that it could give me a recollection of everything that happened. And I also have my other phone with me because I wrote a timeline of everything. I don't know if you guys can see. And obviously I'm going to be showing proof and receipts, because what's a story without receipts, And the last thing that I want you guys to think is me lying, because going through this was one of the hardest things I've went through with. Yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna get started. And also, you guys, I also stutter a lot, and I hope that like you guys could still understand me while I like talk, because that's just how my brain works. Like, when I'm not a really good storyteller, but I'm gonna try my best. Yeah, so let's just begin. I met this person when I lived in Casper, Wyoming. I live in Houston, Texas now. I know this video is gonna be hard because it's gonna remind me of everything from the first day. I met this person and I thought this person was the love of my life. I thought this was the person that, you know, that I was going to be living with for the rest of my life. That, I don't know, that I would be with, you know, for the rest of my life. I love this person so much that I was pushing my own family and friends away. That's how much I really love this person. On September 29th of 2023, I had a friend of mine, well, not really friend, I would say like acquaintance, because we weren't really that close. She showed me a picture of this guy on Snapchat, and I was, you know, with her at the time, and we were hanging out, and I was like, oh my god, he's so cute, like I want to get to know him. So I was like, okay. She was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, okay, well, I want you to text him and be like, hey, one of my friends wants to meet you, and, you know, wants to get to know you, and, you know, possibly like hang out. So what she basically did is she set up a blind date for the guy and then me. And then I was like, wait, well, this is gonna be awkward. Like, it would just be three of us, you know? So I told her to also invite another one of her friends. So she did. So it was gonna be the guy that I wanted to know, which is my ex, and then my friend, and then her other friend. We went to dinner, got to know each other, and when I saw his face, I was just really like starstruck. I was like, oh my god, he's so cute. Like, you know, like I want to be with him. Like, I was just like giggling and laughing. Like, I was actually like starstruck, and I was like, I couldn't contain like my, what do you call this? Like my excitement because of like how much I really liked him, that I ended up going to the bathroom to really like calm myself down. That's how much I really like this person. And then, you know, after that, dinner was done. I told him, well, you know, what are your plans after this? and he goes, nothing, I'm gonna go home. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, we should come to my place, you know, I'm willing to buy us drinks and we would hang out. He was down, my friend was down, her friend was down. I was like, okay, let's go to my place. I got us drinks, we went to my place, we hanged out, we had some music, we were just, you know, having fun, and we were just in my room. Obviously, we got drunk. All of us got drunk. I told everyone, hey, no one is going home today because you guys are drunk, and if you're gonna go home, you can get an Uber. Well, he drove there. My friends also drove there. There's no point of getting an Uber because, you know, they drove there, and like their car is just gonna be in the parking lot. And they agreed. I mean, before we talked about it, they were already gonna say that, oh, we're just gonna stay here, you know, if we did, you know, get too like drunk. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Fast forward, the night was over. Me and him slept together in the bed, and then my friend and her friend was in a like blow up bed, so they slept there, and then me and him slept in the bed. You guys could already guess what happened. Now that like I look back at it, it was such a like stupid like decision. And I mean, I was also like tipsy, so, and I was also like, you know, I just really had like a huge crush on him, and I really liked him. That first night is when you guys are also gonna get to know like a lot about me on this video, so I just wanna say that this was the night I lost my virginity, and I regret it. I really do. He didn't deserve he didn't deserve it. I lost my virginity. I actually, like, remember, if I could remember, I actually didn't want to do anything with him because it didn't feel right. Like, I just met you, you know, like, dude, I just met you, like, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's, you know, like, to me, it's just, I don't know, it wasn't right. He was insisting, and I was just like, you know what, I guess let's just do it. So we had a sexual intercourse, and that was the first night I fell in love with him. And yeah, I think after that, I just really wanted to be with him every day. We woke up, we started the day, um, and we got to know each other more. He basically told me that he came to Casper, Wyoming because he had a job offering for, like, I believe construction is what he did. Yeah, he had a job offering for construction is why he was there, and he had a side hustle, and his side hustle was being an OF creator. Now, when I say that, he wasn't like a big OF creator. He was like a micro OF creator. You know, it was just like a side hustle for him. I basically told him, well, you know, if you're gonna, you know, we're gonna be together, like, you need to, like, not do that. Like, I need you to, like, drop that, you know? Like, I don't want you doing that if we're together. The crazy thing, now that I look back at it, now I feel so I feel so stupid, because it's like I just met this guy, and now, like, you don't even know him, and now, like, you want to be with him. Because when we woke up that night, I wanted to get to know him, and then I wanted to, you know, like, be with him already. Like, I just wanted to just, you know, be, like, together. Like, I wanted him to be my boyfriend. Obviously, like, he agreed. He was like, okay, like, I'm, like, down, like, I, you know, would love for you to also become my boyfriend. So yeah, things went by so fast. It hasn't even been a month, not even a week, that we're already together. On October 1st, I made the relationship public on Snapchat. I'm going to be showing receipts and everything. But yeah, I hard launched our relationship on Snapchat. And I think that was one of the most stupidest things I could have done, because it's like, why are you posting him already and you don't even know the person, you know? And on top of that, you hard launched it, you know? You didn't even, like, soft launch anything. That's how much I really loved him. I just really liked him. That I wanted everyone to know that he was my boyfriend. And then on October 2nd, I made our relationship public on Instagram. I'll be showing pictures and stuff. First it was Snapchat, and then I went on Instagram to make it public. Also, sorry you guys if I'm talking slow. I don't want to talk too fast because I don't want to miss anything. Yeah. And I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can, because I don't want this to be a long video. So yeah, I'm just putting the dates because I feel like it's important for y'all to know, because it'll make sense when like, after you guys get done watching the video, like, the dates would make sense. On October 3rd was his birthday. I went all out for his birthday. I bought him so many, like, things. I'll show you guys a picture. Before I gave him all of these gifts, I told him to leave his door open. Either that or, like, you know, like, give me the key to his apartment complex. He said, wait, why? I was like, just because. He goes, okay, well, I'm not gonna give you the key to my apartment, I'll leave it open. He left it open. If I could remember, it was in the middle of the night. I remember my brother Lord driving me to his place. Dude, I was just really, like, in love with this fucking boy. I basically I actually planned everything beforehand, because he told me his birthday was coming up and it was gonna be on October 3rd. I surprised him with it before he got up, because he was actually getting up for work. And now that I look back at it, he didn't even deserve any of that. And the crazy thing is, he did not get any gifts from nobody but me. Anyways, on October 7th, I posted more pictures of us making it public, me hard launching everything. I really just wanted to let everyone know that he was my boyfriend and I love him. And I was just, like, letting him, like, I was just making sure to let him know that, like, hey, you know, like, you don't have to worry about anything. Like, I also, you know, I want people to know that you're with me, that we're together. On October 12th, he came to my house, and he basically said that he didn't have enough money to pay for his rent. And I was like, okay, what can I do to help you with that? He says nothing. He said that he's wanting to move back to Houston, because he said that he has like, he said that he had jobs already like ready, like he had like job offerings in like Houston, that like if he, you know, came back here, he would have it instantly. And I was like, wait, like what do you mean? Like I don't want to go back to Houston, I just met you, like, you know. And when I tell you guys, I was crying, like I was hysterically crying, and I didn't want him to leave. So I was basically saying, I'm like, I want to help you, like I'm willing to pay for your rent. You know, I could have easily said, you know, if looking back at it now, if I just let him go, none of this would have happened. Like any of this would have happened. I basically paid for his rent. I'm gonna show receipts up here. And yeah, did that. He was happy, you know, obviously. And so to me, I was also happy because, you know, he didn't leave. And then on October 17th, he got laid off from his job. Like I said, he was working on a construction. And so he said that he had to leave. Because they also took his work truck. He didn't have anything. He didn't have nothing. And he wanted to really like leave. He wanted to go back to Houston because he had no job. He had nothing. How was he gonna pay for his rent? How was he gonna pay for his stuff? And I said, no, I don't want you to leave. When he called me and said that he got laid off from his job, that's when my heart dropped. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna leave. He's gonna obviously like leave. Obviously, because what does he have here? All his family and his friends are in Houston. Sorry if I'm taking like mid pauses, because I'm just, everything's like, I'm like remembering like everything. Oh, I did skip something though. On October 10th, he said that, hey, I think I want to move back to Texas. I don't know though. Yeah, this was when he still had his job. I was so in love with this man, and I said, currently crying as I'm typing this, of course I want what's best for you. Just want to say, you've given me a lot of great memories to remember you for real. At the end of the day, I want you to succeed and be great in whatever path you're taking. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, great memories, when I've only met this man on September 29th. Like, you know, like looking at this, obviously, you guys are gonna call me idiot, like, throughout this whole video, like, Lord, you're stupid, you're dumb, what were you thinking? I don't care. I'll take it. I've called myself that so many times because of this situation. And he was basically saying, I'm not leaving anytime soon, LMAO. And I just said, I'm sorry, I think I'm just being dramatic, but I guess I just formed that attachment to you, but I'm just saying, I never met someone as amazing as you are, is all. I also just want to say something before I continue with this video. Growing up, I didn't really like receive like a lot of like love from like my parents, and that's why like I'm always looking for like, you know, love from other people, and he made me feel like that. The reason why I was also like in love with him, because he made me, he was like, you know, he just made me feel loved like no one else did. And and I know for a fact that this has a lot to do with me growing up and not receiving attention when I was a little kid. So now that I'm like grown, I've always like craved it from other people, you know. Lord, don't cry, please. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, fast forward. We were just hanging out every day after that, and my best friend was also in town when, you know, we were together, because she lives in Montana. My best friend was also in Casper, and me, her, and him would always be hanging out. We would be up each other's ass every day. Also, mind you guys, this was the time when I was not posting on social media. I was just head over heels for this man that I took I told myself that, like, oh, you don't need to post, you know, anymore because you're with him. So I was basically like telling myself like, okay, well, you know, I guess me posting is like, I don't know, like it wouldn't matter right now because, you know, I'm, you know, like I just want to be with him. So yeah, I really regret that because I remember like not posting for a really long time on TikTok and on my social media. Yeah, we were just hanging out every day. On October 17th, oh yeah, I got sidetracked, but on October 17th, he got laid off from his job. Um, and then I basically said, is there anything I can do to help? I'm just sorry that this happened to you. I was just in a state of shock that I didn't know what to say. I'm gonna miss you so much. He basically called me and he said what he said, and I just started crying, is why I said that. I was just in a state of shock. I hope you can stay for at least a weekend if you could. You guys, when I tell you I was crying, like I felt like I was dying. Like I felt like a part of me was getting ripped apart. I'll support you until you get back on your feet. I really would. I really hope you can find another way. I don't want to seem like I'm ignoring the problem, but I really truly do love you. If you want someone to talk to tonight, I'm here. Yeah, I basically said that, and he was just basically saying how he needed to go home, and that he doesn't have a job. You know, he doesn't have anything here, and I didn't want him to go home. On October 21st, oh, this is gonna make sense because he also wanted to go home because they obviously took the work truck from him, so he had nowhere to go from point A to point B. And I basically told him that he could Uber here and there. Like, I'm willing to Uber you here and there whenever you have to go places, you know, if you have to go places. And he said that that's stupid, you know, like he also likes driving around, and Ubering isn't really like, I don't know. He didn't really like that idea. He brings up the dealership and he goes, I was, you know, thinking if we could go to the dealership, I want to look at some cars, you know, I just want to look and see if they have anything good. Looking, not realizing now that he said that, or like looking back at this, I didn't see, like, there were so many fucking red flags that like I ignored. I feel like he brought me to the dealership because he knows that I had money, obviously, and he knows I feel like he already knew. I feel like he had this plan. He had a plan, and I felt like he knew that, you know, I would be saying yes to everything, and that is right. I was saying just yes to everything, you know, to him, to like satisfy him and his needs. On October 21st, we were at the dealership and my best friend was with me. We were looking at cars. He found one that he liked, obviously, and he was telling this girl, I remember everything so vividly, oh my god. She didn't give us a price. She said that, how about let's go inside and we'll talk there and see, you know, how like what I can offer you. The girl asked him, do you have a, you know, credit score? He didn't have anything. He didn't have a credit at all. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'm willing to be, you know, the co-buyer, like the, is that what I said? The primary? No. Oh, no, 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 no. We went there. He wanted to, obviously, I told him I'm willing to, I'm willing to be the, what do you call this? I'm willing to be the co-borrower. You know, he would be the primary owner because I thought he he would have a credit, and you know, assuming that his credit was low, I would be the co-borrower. You know, I'm willing to be, you know, do that for him. Um, the car dealership people said that he didn't have a credit. I thought he had a credit, but he didn't. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna become the primary owner, and he's gonna become the co-borrower. This was, this is one of the most stupidest shit I've ever done in my life. My best friend was actually with me. I'm gonna put screenshots up here. She was basically telling me not to do it. No offense, but I don't know why you did this. She said it's a big deal. It's not something you just sign up for and move. Y'all ain't married. I should have listened to her. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I said, it just puts a big trust in our relationship. And then she goes, you haven't even known him for that long. You just signed for a 40,000 pickup and you gave him 8 grand. I wouldn't let someone just do that for me. I don't know why he doesn't feel bad. With the 8 grand, that was my down payment. You guys are probably calling me stupid behind the screen. It's fine. But yeah, he didn't have the credit to obtain the loan. I became the primary buyer and he became the co-borrower. Borrower. And then she basically said that, oh, I said, I see through him and his intentions are very genuine. It was fucking not. We'll see, because I know he truly loves me. He didn't. This also makes his trust with him and me very strong. Yeah. And then she goes, I just feel like you're getting taken advantage of. But let me not say I told you so again. You can see through someone you've known maybe a month. Trust me, people change. And then I said, I'm just glad you're here at the end of the day. I feel so uncomfortable for some reason. I don't know why. Like, it's hitting me out of nowhere. LMAO. And I feel like that was the feeling, that uncomfortable feeling was basically the universe telling me, why did you do it? Like, what the fuck? Like, why did you do this? Fast forward, after that, we would just be hanging out every single day. My best friend actually had to go back to her hometown, to Montana. So I visited her with me and him. And then me and him would just be hanging out every single day. And then also with my best friend also being there. We were just always together. And yeah, I was also not posting on social media. Like, I think I literally just forgot about like my presence online. That's how much I really loved him. Like, my whole focus was on him. On October 27th, my ex and me and my sister, we took a trip to Denver. I paid for everything, the hotel, food, gas, literally everything. Obviously, he didn't have a job. Yeah, because I wanted to take this trip because I wanted my sister to get to know him and, hang out with him. On October 30th, we got back home, spent more time with family, with my siblings. And the crazy thing is, you guys, my siblings literally treated him as like their own sibling. That's how much they also loved him. We also spent Halloween together, actually. We were craving pumpkins. We were just really close. Like, my siblings got close with him as well. Because I was also telling my siblings, like, he's just the perfect man. I love him. Like, I think he's the one. Looking back at it, he was not the one. On November 13th, me and him had a conversation how he wanted to, go to Houston and travel and visit his family and friends. And I was like, okay, like, what do you need? Obviously, he needed money because he can't travel there without the money. And when we were also talking, I remember that he also needed rent money. So I gave him the rent money and the vacation money. I'm gonna put it up here somewhere. I was just saying yes to everything. I was basically just wanting him to know that I'm here, like I care for him, like I'm willing to do everything for him. And I didn't even know that I was getting taken advantage of. Because he really wanted to visit his family and like, his friends. So I was like, okay, like, I got you. On November 15th, he broke his phone because he said when he was coming out of the truck, he broke it and slammed it, and so it wasn't working. So you know what I did? Bought him a new phone. I bought him a new iPhone 15 Pro Max. I even bought him an iPhone 15 Pro case with the phone. And then that same day is when he left. When he got, when I gave him the phone, he wanted to leave for Houston. When he left, because I thought that he was either going to pay online or he was going to go to the leasing office to pay for his rent. When he left, he forgot to pay for his rent. Looking back at it now, he didn't forget. He purposely didn't want to pay it because he knew that I was going to pay for it. I gave him $3,000 because the rent was $2,000 and then the $1,000 for his vacation money. He did not pay for his rent, and he basically said, "Hey, I forgot to pay for my rent. Like, I'm fucked if I don't pay for it. It's gonna be like late." I basically said, "Okay, I'm gonna pay for his rent." Oh wait, his rent was $1,700. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so it was $1,300 for his like vacation money to go to Houston. I basically got a money order from Walmart and put $1,700, and I told him that, okay, I'll do it. Like, I'll pay for his rent. He didn't want to come back because he was already like an hour away from, I guess, from Casper. So he just didn't want to go back, and he said that it was a hassle, and he just didn't want to go back, I guess. Looking back at it now, that was fucking stupid. Like, I was spending money, like I was spending like crazy. I was just willing to do everything for him. November 19th, he sent me a video of like his friends. I'm assuming it was outside of the club or whatever. I don't even know if these were his friends. I'm gonna show it up here. It was basically people like on top of my truck and like them partying in my truck, and like I believe he was doing donuts with the truck outside, like in like, you know, outside of the club. And I was like, what the fuck? That this is when I first questioned. I was like, do I see myself with this man? Like what is he doing with, you know, that's also my truck. Um like why is he doing this? And I basically just shrugged it off, and I was like, they're just having fun, you know, not seeing the bigger picture that this is who he is as a person. On November 22nd, one of his friends texted me and he said that, hey, your man is cheating on you. I didn't believe it at first because I didn't even know him. When I got that message, I basically I called him and I said, why is one of your friends texting me that said that like you're cheating? He basically said that ignore him, you know, he's lying. And I said, why do you think he's lying? Like, I want to know what's going on. I texted a friend back and I said, what is he doing? Like, what happened? He was really saying that, I'm just warning you that he's cheating on you and he's seeing someone. And I'm like, what? It didn't make sense. And I felt like he was also lying because my ex said that they were also fighting that day. And my ex was saying that he was trying to make an excuse to make me mad because he knew who I was, obviously, because I guess my ex told his friend about me. But yeah, he was basically saying to ignore him. So I did. I ignored him. On November 23rd, I wanted to give him like a gift basket because I wanted him to come back with like a gift on his, you know, kitchen table. When I got to his apartment complex, I saw a eviction notice. Not really an eviction notice. It was like a 30-day notice of like letting him know that you need to get out of this apartment. I was confused because I was like, wait, didn't I pay for his rent? You know, like I was confused. So I tried FaceTiming him. First, I tried calling him, he didn't answer. He kept hanging up like fast. Sorry, excuse me. I tried FaceTiming him. In the background, I was hearing like water splashing and stuff like that. He didn't want to answer the FaceTime. I sent him the screenshot. I mean, not a screenshot. I sent him a text, like a picture of the paper in front of his door, and he didn't really care. Like he didn't really care. And I was like, answer the phone. Like I need to talk to you. This is important. And at this point on, I was actually also worried that like he wouldn't come back because obviously this paper was in his door, and I was afraid that like I wouldn't see him and like I wouldn't see my truck again. He didn't want to FaceTime. When I got back to he said that he would call me back. So I went back to my place. I left the gift basket in front of his door because I don't know why. I just left it there because I felt like I didn't want to bring it home with me because I felt like he would also see it. Anyways, that's not the point. When I got back home, my friend sent me a screenshot of where he was at because he had my friend's, you know, Snapchat obviously, and his location was active. It was on. She basically sent me a screenshot of where he was at, and you know, obviously at first, I was innocent. I didn't know any of this stuff. I was like, what is that? And I thought it was just like, you know, like a club / like I think a gym or whatever it is. He was basically at a gay sauna, a bathhouse, and if you don't know what that is, just look it up. I didn't know what it was, so I called the place, actually. I remember calling them. I was in my bed calling them. I was like, hey, what is this place? He basically told me what it was, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? You're joking. I basically told him, I was like, why are you there? Like, why are you there? And he said that, oh, I was just here because my friend invited me here. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean your friend invited you there? Like, leave then. Like, why are you there? And it makes sense why he didn't want to answer the FaceTime because obviously he was at that place. Again, I was like, okay, it's fine, I guess. Like, I basically just shrugged it off. Like, I didn't care. Again. On November 24th, his friend reached out again. The same friend that texted me reached out again, and he said that, hey, just so you know, your boyfriend and his ex met up at a mall. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What do you mean? He was basically saying how his friend and his, you know, ex that he used to be with met up at the mall. He basically said no, like, don't believe him. He was saying like, don't believe my friend. Like, he was saying don't believe his friend. And I'm like what? Like, you know, like I was just like confused. I was like, sorry, like where are you at? Hold on, I need to take a break. his friend really like what he said was so like it was so believable, but then at the same time not really, because he was basically saying how, he was hanging out with his ex, and I was just hysterically like crying because it's like, how could you do this? How could you do this to me? I basically said I wanted it to be you and me, and I trusted you. I'm crying so hard right now because I wanted to see my future with you, and would straight up do anything for you. There's a reason I wanted you in my life, and then his name. But if you want to throw, I'm not gonna also drop his name, obviously for legal reasons. But if you want to throw all of this away, then so be it. But just know I always loved you. I fucking loved you, dude. You're losing someone who would do absolutely anything for you. Someone who loves you like crazy. Someone who would have your back when you're not around. Someone who would pick up 20 hours away. I really hope you realize I was the guy you were supposed to be with, and the guy who would do anything for you no matter what that consisted of. I'm hurting so bad right now. I love you and I will love you forever. If you want to stay in Houston, just go for it. But know that I will always remember the memories I had with you, and you gave me something no one could ever do. I love you. He basically said I didn't do anything, I swear. Again, I believed him. I remember that night he was also saying how his friend also just wanted to piss me off and wanted to mess up what like we had going on, is what he told me. On November 25th is when he started driving back home. He also stayed with his friend's apartment complex the whole time. He was also there too. His friend didn't want him at the apartment complex anymore because obviously they had a fight. He he needed a hotel, so I paid for his gas, hotel, and food, everything. Oh no, this was November 24th, when his friend didn't want him at his place, so he needed a place to stay, so I gave him money for gas, food, and hotel. And then November 25th is when he started driving back home. He drove the drive from Houston to Casper, Wyoming is like really far, so he had to stop again. So I paid for his hotel, gas, food, you name it. And then after that, the next day he started driving again, and then came home at night. When he came home that night, he said that he lost the key, the spare key for the truck, because there was two. I don't even know why he brought like two of the keys, because it was already connected, because when we got the truck it was connected to the lanyard already, and he said that he forgot the key. And he didn't forget, he lost the key. Now that like, after all of this shit that happened, I feel like he purposely lost that key so I wouldn't have access to the truck, so I wouldn't have a spare key to the truck. So I feel like he did that on purpose. I feel like he didn't really lose the key. How did you lose the key when it was on the fucking keychain of the lanyard? You know what I mean? So yeah, he did it on purpose. I don't know how, I didn't see that. When that happened, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, we can get another one. That same night, I waited until he was asleep. I felt like something in my heart something was wrong. Like, something's going on. Like, I want to get to the bottom of it. I waited until he was sleeping. I went through his phone, and I found stuff on there that was crazy. I'll put some pictures up, put some receipts and proof up. He was basically talking to guys on Instagram. Yeah, he was basically cheating on me. He was texting people. He was sending nudes to random. I don't know if it was random. I felt like he knew these people. And yeah, I was just crying. I remember that night, I was just crying in bed, and I was just trying to be quiet because I didn't want him to hear me. But yeah, I just saw like so many stuff, and I don't even know if I can put some of this stuff on there because I don't want YouTube to take this down. But and I also checked his browser history. He was also on this website called Sniffies. At the time, I was very innocent. I didn't know what that was until I saw it for myself. Basically cheating on me. I woke up that morning. I didn't talk to him for hours on end. Like, I would say 2 or 3 hours, and then I basically just bursted crying out of nowhere, and he was basically saying, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Like, what's wrong? I was basically telling him that, like, like, what I found on his phone, and how could you do this? Like, like, after all the stuff that I did for you, and you would do that? I just couldn't believe that he would do that, to me. And I felt really hurt because it wasn't just one person who did this to, you know, it was a lot of people. God knows how many people, you know, he met and like cheated on me with. I'm so mad at myself because I forgave him for it. I just really wanted to see the good in him. So I ended up giving him another chance. I should have broke up with him. I should have told him that I'm done, like, you know, I'm done. But one thing about me, I'm always wanting to see the good in people, and then it backfires. Yeah, I basically told him I'm willing to give him another chance, and he said that he would change. So I was like, okay, like, please do, because I really do love you, and I didn't want to let him go because I was still in love with this man. On November 27th, he got a call from his leasing office that he didn't pay his rent. And the reason why he had that paper attached to his door. And now that I remember, it's either I did not put the unit number or I put the unit number in someone else's apartment, is why they thought the leasing office didn't get the rent, because I didn't put either the unit number or I accidentally put someone else's. And that's why they put that thing in the door, because I was actually like confused, because I was like, wait, I could pay for this, you know what I mean? And then they didn't really care. They basically told him, we still want you out of the apartment. I feel like he did something before I met him, is the reason I feel like they didn't really like him, because on that phone call it felt like they didn't, you know, really like him, and that, you know, they weren't willing to, you know, what do you call this? They weren't willing to like let him stay at the apartment complex. They obviously like kept the rent, because the people said that he also had a lot of late fees. I don't know what those late fees were, but they also still took the money. They didn't give it back. Yeah, and they still wanted him out of the apartment complex. I'm trying to remember everything as vividly as I possibly can, but yeah, I don't remember them giving him the money back. They kept the money. On November 28th, I told him that, you know, he could move in with me until he gets a job. And yeah, that's when I basically told him that, you know, you can stay with us. You can stay at my apartment complex. That was the most dumbest decision I've ever made in my life. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that. I should have just, I don't know, like, let him go. Dude, I don't know what the attachment I had with him was. I feel like it was just love. I was just blinded. I was just really blinded. And I just wanted to, you know, be there for him. Now that I look back at it also, he told me to get a U-Haul storage for his stuff, because he said that he knows that he's gonna get a job. So he didn't want all of my stuff at my place, because he knows for sure that he's gonna get a job. I feel like that was also like a manipulation tactic, because he never got a job. I'm gonna talk more about that here. He never got a job. He just wanted to claim that he wanted to put some of his stuff at the storage, because he knows that he's not gonna live with me. He manipulated me into thinking that he didn't want to put that burden on me, but in reality, he really did. Like, he wanted to move in with me. So yeah, I got the storage for him, and then he got some of his stuff at my place. Anyways, fast forward, on December 8th, we took a trip to Houston, because he said that he wanted to visit his family and his friends again. I mean, from the first one that he went and visited Houston, I feel like he didn't visit Houston for his family. I felt like he visited, now that I look back at it, I felt like he really like visited Houston to go talk to his ex, you know? Because it's all gonna it makes sense, like, you know what I mean? I feel like he was there because it's like, why was a friend texting me and calling me about, like, you know, like, about your ex, da 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 da. So yeah. So obviously I didn't trust him this time to go to Houston by himself. So I went to Houston with him, because he said that he wanted to visit his family and his friends, and he also wanted to show me around. He wanted me to like find an apartment also, like, there. Like, he wanted me to like also live there with him, you know, obviously, like, me taking my siblings with me. But yeah, I took a trip to Houston. He wanted to show me around. I paid for everything: gas, Airbnb, food, all the activities that we did. Paid for everything. Obviously, he didn't have money. Yeah, we went like horse riding and all that stuff. And I'll be putting like pictures and everything on the screen. On December 11th, I went to dinner because he said that he wanted to introduce me to one of his friends. Um, he was like a best friend, and he said that he's known him before he went to Casper, Wyoming. So I was like, okay, like I'm willing to meet him. So we went to dinner. I paid for the dinner. After that, we went back to the Airbnb, and we were hanging out. That night was I could also feel tension between the friend and him because obviously we had plans like we're gonna go back to Airbnb and watch a movie. When obviously I still had my fit from like my outside outfit and I wanted to change to my sleeping clothes. I looked to my right. They're already sitting on a couch like together. I mean, they were sitting together. The couch was like right here, and there was another singular couch that could sit at one person. It was basically him at this end and this end, and I'm like, weird. Like, why are they? I mean, obviously, like it was just. I didn't really think nothing of it, but I'll tell you now. When I was sitting at the couch, I felt like something was up, like something was happening. Because when I was looking to my left, not the friend, my ex kept looking at him. And I'm like, wait, what are they doing? Like, what the fuck? And I was just watching really hard. I thought, like, I was just overthinking and, like, I was just in my head. So I was like, you know what? There's nothing going on, Lord. Like, And also, I also was, very, like, I was just so in love with him that I didn't want him to anyone else, And obviously, like, that's his friend. Like, why would, he do anything with his, like, best friend? He stayed that night, the friend. And he needed to go to work in the morning. And guess who drove him? My ex. I guess obviously he was just nice enough, but now that I look back at it, I felt like he liked him, he liked him, but I didn't think nothing of it, like, when that was happening. Anyways, after that, we went and did more activities. We went to a museum. We went to this butterfly center, and then we just did a lot of like activities. I also took him shopping. Basically everything that he was getting, I was paying. We went to the aquarium. We were basically doing a lot of stuff, and now that I look back at it, I felt like he wanted to, go to those activities. Like he wanted to do all of these things because he didn't have to worry about paying for it because I was paying for it. He loved it. Like he was having fun. On December 15th, his friend. Also, the reason why we also went to Houston, I also went with him because his friend, the friend that was at the Airbnb, was graduating. So I went to his graduation, and yeah. And then after that, me and my ex went to dinner, and he was basically saying how he was planning. He wants to go places. Sorry, he was wanting to go places. Like he wants to go travel. And he basically said that he wants to, just go somewhere, like somewhere nice. And so I was like, where do you want to go? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? He basically said that he wanted to go to Jackson, Wyoming, and then Yellowstone. And I said, okay, let's do it. So what I did is we drove back home to my place, and the best friend came with us. I went back home to Casper because I needed to, say like bye to my siblings because I was gonna go somewhere, and I also need to go repack again because I didn't really pack a lot of clothes. I paid for because we stayed at a, what do you call it, like a log cabin. It wasn't really a hotel, it was more like a cabin, like a log or something like that. I paid for that, paid for food, for gas. I don't know why I keep repeating that, knowing that I just really like paid for everything. I'm gonna show pictures. Yeah, we were just hanging out. We also did like activities. We ate, on the December 24th, I was crying because I feel like something was up. Like, so I feel like something happened. I was just rethinking of everything, of like when he first visited Houston, and then second, when he, at the Airbnb with like what happened. I felt like something was off. I was basically crying, and also when we were the whole entire time. I was at the strip in Jackson and then in Yellowstone. He was just also close with his friend. Like he just always wanted to be around him, and I was confused. When sorry you guys. The next day, I forgot my one of my suitcases, like my skincare suitcases, in his truck downstairs. Wait, this wasn't the next day. This was, I think, that night. Yeah, the night. Yeah, it was the night, not the next day. I forgot my like skincare suitcases, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go grab it. And then his friend was like, okay, I'm gonna come with you. Like, I want to go with you because, you know, if you need help. My ex was like, something's up. Because I wanted to grab the skincare suitcase by myself, so I went downstairs. The friend also came with me. The friend wanted to come with me because he wanted to tell me something. He said, "Hey, Lord, I need to tell you something. Like, I would think you need to know, like, you know, about this." And I'm like, "Wait, what do you need to tell me?" And then boom, guess who was there? I saw my ex right there, like, waiting. He was just basically watching us, and my friend told me, I was like, "Oh, he's right there. He's like, what? He's like watching, da 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 da." I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, can you please tell me though?" And he's like, he didn't want to tell me because obviously my ex was listening. He didn't want to tell me anything. And also I felt like what made him come up to me and tell him, because previously, like before this, I told him that truck, I bought that truck, like that was my truck. He was like gagged because he was like, wait, I thought, no, he said that was his truck, you know. And I think that's what made him want to, you know, tell me something that he wanted to tell me but he didn't, because of all these lies that, you know, my ex was telling him, I guess, was feeding to him. I wanted to know what he wanted to tell me, but he didn't want to, you know, tell me because my ex was listening. So I was like, okay, I mean, just tell me next time, you know, like tell me tomorrow, you know. And at first I didn't really like, what do you call this? The reason why he didn't want to tell me is because my ex was looking, so he didn't want to. I didn't know that until now that I realized it. I just thought that my ex was like waiting for me, you know, to come back to the room. We went to dinner. We did, you know, a bunch of activities, da da da, and then we left on December 26th to go home. And then my friend wanted to leave from the Denver, Colorado airport to Houston, you know, because it was like, I guess, cheaper that way, and like it was more better, I guess. So we dropped him off at the Denver airport, and I went back home. And my brother actually came with us to, you know, spend some time with us. My brother Lord. On December 28th. This is like fast forward. On December 28th, he was taking a shower. We were already home at this point. And I found out that his phone was turning on, like it kept ding ding, and I was like, what the fuck? And I thought it was important, so I grabbed it because I wanted to give it to him because he was in the shower. But then when I looked at the message of what the message was, it was the name of his ex. Obviously the name of his ex, because he told me that he had an ex. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is it texting him? Like, what the fuck? Me and him basically had a deep talk, and I was basically saying, why are you talking to him, bro? Like, why are you guys still, what the fuck? He basically said that, like, he wants to keep in contact with him so that if there was, like, in case of emergency or whatever, that he could be there. And I'm like, we're together. Like, why are you talking to your ex? And, you know, God knows how you guys have been, like, I didn't know they were still talking. Like, God knows what they've been talking about, or, like, if they've been calling each and every other day, like, without me knowing. I basically told him, I was like, why are you still, like, talking to him? Like, you're with me. He also said, this is what he also said, if I could remember, he said that, like, the reason why he doesn't want to stop talking, you know, to him was because of the fact that, like, he misses his memories with him. And to me, that really caught me off guard. I was just shocked. I was like, wait, what do you mean you miss him? Like, you miss his, like, memories with him? Like, what the fuck? Like, you're with me now. From that moment on, I gave him another chance. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, please, you know, cut all contact with him, because it makes no sense if we're gonna be together. He was acting like what do you call it? Like, he was acting like he wanted me to feel bad for him, is how he was acting like when we had like that deep conversation. I felt like it was also like a manipulation tactic. I don't know. And I also checked his social media too. he was also following him on TikTok. So to me, it was like, wait, are you keeping tabs on him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make no sense. Anyways, on December 29th, he gave me gifts as like a sorry. This was one of his manipulation tactics. And you know what the crazy thing is? I'm gonna put the gift up here that he gave me. He used my card to buy those gifts. At first, I thought he was just gonna go to Walmart and buy groceries, or, you know, just food. But he surprised me with all of this. Obviously, I was like, oh my god, you're so sweet. But then it's like, you bitch, you use my fucking card. What the fuck, you know? So it's like, whatever. On January 21st of 2024, he asked if he could get the rest of the stuff in the U-Haul storage. I already know at this point on that he wasn't gonna get a job. He said every day, not every day, every other day, or no, when I would always ask him, like, hey, are you getting a job? Because I was basically feeding this man. I was basically giving this man everything. I was basically like taking care of him. Like I was a fucking his mom, you know? He basically wanted the rest of his stuff at the U-Haul storage, and I was like, okay, let's go get it. We got it, and he was basically living with me. And also, you guys, I forgot to mention this. When I bought the truck for him, when I bought the vehicle for him, I didn't tell my siblings anything. I was actually telling my ex, like, hey, if my siblings ask, just say that you were the one that bought this truck. And the crazy thing is, you guys, I went behind my siblings' back because my brother Lord actually he's been wanting help from me to co-sign for him for a car, for a vehicle. And I said, yeah, like, of course I would do it. I went behind his back, obviously, and coincidentally, it was that same week, my ex, you know, I bought a fucking vehicle for my ex. So I basically did that for him. Like, I felt so bad that, like, what the fuck did I do? You know, I could have done this for my brother, but I didn't. So yeah. Anyways, on February 5th, I started looking for houses to rent in Houston because I wanted to also live in Houston because Houston is great. Like, it's an amazing place. Like, I actually loved it when I, you know, visited with him. And I was tired of Casper, Wyoming. Casper, Wyoming is such a small town too. You can barely do anything. And I felt like it was time for me to, you know, go for my next chapter of my life. So yeah, that's when I started looking for, you know, houses to rent here in Houston. And also he said that he knows for a fact that he would be getting a job. He would for sure definitely be getting a job if I did, you know, got a house, you know, to rent in Houston. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I started looking around. Fast forward, on February 20th, I went to LA to visit, you know, friends, and I also had a collab with one of my friends there that I needed to do, and I also went there, you know, it's like a work/vacation trip. When I was there, coincidentally, the same friend that wanted to tell me something, actually, he said that because I posted that I was gonna be in LA, so he saw that, obviously, because we were already like following each other like on Instagram. He basically said that he also wanted to visit. He had friends that he wanted to visit in LA, and he said that, you know, you're there and I'm also going to be there, and he wanted to basically tell me what he's been wanting to tell me when we were in Yellowstone. And so I was like, and he was basically asking if he could drop by and tell me, and I was like, okay, yeah, of course. And also I wanted him to tell me in person, because obviously he could have told me like over the phone, but I wanted him to tell me in person because I wanted to know, like, you know, what really happened, because I feel like he's been wanting to tell me something. When the next day he got there, we grabbed brunch. He basically told me that the very first time he went to Houston, remember when I gave him that money to go visit his family and friends, he basically said that my ex basically booked a hotel unknowingly without his best friend knowing, because he said that he wanted to, you know, have sex with him. But the best friend said that he felt like really uncomfortable, and I fully did believe him. He said that he didn't do anything with him. He felt uncomfortable. He didn't, you know, he obviously knew that he was with someone. Like, he, you know, he was with what do you call this? He was with me. You know, he was with me, and he didn't feel right. So yeah, that's what the best friend told me. And yeah, he basically, you know, wanted to do something with him, but he said that he never did anything with him. And also, when the second time I visited Houston with my ex, my ex on that couch, my ex was actually texting him that he wanted to, do something with him. But obviously the best friend said, oh, I'm not comfortable with doing any of that. I don't know what he was telling him, but that's what he said. You guys, when I tell you, when he told me this, I was so fucking shocked. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, this is insane. Like, I knew something was up. That's crazy. Like, I knew something was up. And yeah, that's what he basically told me. And I was just, my emotions were just everywhere. Like, I was just mad. Oh, also off topic, sorry, because I just keep remembering everything. When I also bought that vehicle for him, he started flexing it all over his like social media, and he was basically telling, I guess, his friends and his family that he bought the truck. He was like flexing it on his like Instagram and saying, oh, look at this new truck that I bought. No, like knowing that I was the one that bought that truck for him. You know what I mean? Sorry, that was just so random, but I just feel like I needed to insert that because for the story. Yeah, I was so mad. When the best friend told me that, I was just shocked. I wasn't even mad at him because it's not his fault. It was my ex's fault. I was ignoring my ex the whole day. Like, I was basically ignoring him because it's like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea that you could do something like this. Like, and also I was crying after he told me that. But anyways, after we had that brunch, he went with his own way. He left, and then I was just sitting with my own thoughts. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how could he do that? Anyways, on February 22nd is... Hold on. Oh yeah, on February 22nd, he sent me a message because of the fact that he saw his friend, he was in LA too, because his friend obviously posted about it on fucking social media that he was in LA. So he thought that he visited me, for him to meet me there, is what he was like trying to claim. He was like, oh, you went to LA to visit him? Is that what this was about? And it's like, what the fuck are you on? I felt like he was also projecting, because it's like, like, you would do something like that. Not me. I'm not like that. I have morals. Like, bitch, I have respect for myself. I wouldn't do that, So yeah, he basically sent me a text, and he goes, look, wait, hold on. Yeah, he goes, oh, also, when I went to LA, this man would not fucking stop calling me. He would call me every 20 minutes. Not even gonna lie. He would want to call me 20 minutes. He would want me to fucking text him 24/7. And I was like, bro, like what? Like, I don't want to do that. So he thought, like, if I wouldn't call him, I was doing something. Like, I was being sneaky with something. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm here, like, doing my own thing. Like, like, just leave me alone. He basically texted me and goes, look, honestly, I don't want to be with an influencer. I get it's your job, but you should be able to balance it between work and relationship. And I get it, you're very focused on your career, and I'm very proud of you for that. I just feel like I'm your last priority, which he never was. I would literally fucking call him too, and he would fucking call me. And I'm only here for when you are in the mood to have a boyfriend. That's not true at all. What the fuck? I felt like he was trying to manipulate me and trying to make this about himself. And also when I was telling him I was going to LA, he also wanted to also fucking come with me. And I didn't want to, because it's like, I'm going for myself. This is my work trip. I'm going because, I want to fucking have a vacation in LA. And it's like, this is for me. Like, I don't want you coming. He also wanted to come, actually, but I told him not to, like, for respect, don't come with me. To be honest, I felt like you've already gotten bored and want to move on. I felt like he said this because I was ignoring him. Obviously, I was ignoring him because I was mad because of what the fuck the friend just told me. I didn't press him about it. I wanted to talk to him in person when I come back to, in Casper. Is the reason why I didn't, tell him anything that, oh, your friend told me this, what the, I didn't do any of that. He goes, I just feel like if the roles were switched, you would understand, but telling me you are more worried about Snapchat posts over spending a couple minutes on the phone with me really hurts. You guys, he was calling me while I was trying to post a fucking Snapchat story, and I hanged up because I was like, okay, let me just post this. He was being so dramatic about that. And yes, I may not understand the influencer lifestyle, but I try over and over to be patient with you. And as I said before, I don't want to be with an influencer. To me, that was a red flag that I ignored. Like, I don't know why I ignored that. That actually also, when I read this in real time, that actually also fucking hurt me. But now that I read this, it's like, what the fuck are you trying to say, I want to be with the boy I fell in love with. I don't know what he meant by that. But I feel like it's very soon until you hit me with the I'm bored. I love you so much, and stay safe, and let me know when you leave and when you get home. I also felt like he was getting frantic. He was getting like, fuck, like shit, like, you know, like, because obviously he knew his friend was in LA, so it's like, oh, what if, you know, my best friend told me. I don't even think they were best friends. I guess they were just really close. Like, you know, what if, you know, I think he was just really scared that the friend told me what they had going on. Anyways, I said, he goes, wait, hold on, what did I say? He said, I'm just out of the influencer side, and I said, influencer. And he goes, like I said in the paragraph, I don't want to be with an influencer. Like, what? I just want to be with the boy I fell in love with. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, bitch, this is my job. I can't just, you know, quit everything for you. And he goes, which is you, but I'll just be more patient. I talked to my mom about it, and she made me understand. I said influencer because it's always your excuse. It's a problem when you're home. Just in the rest of your time there, we can talk about it when you get home. And then he calls me after that, like, oh, I miss you, da da da, and he's crying. And I'm like, bro, like, what? Like I also took a trip to LA because I just needed also space from him, because we were just like up each other's ass, you know. Anyways, sorry, fast forward. I'm not trying to make this video as long. I really just want to get this. I just really want to say, you know, like, say my story. Hold on, sorry. Oh yeah, that was on February 22nd. He sent me that text. When he sent me that text, I was also at the club with my friends. And also, obviously, I was drunk. Not drunk, but I was tipsy. I was drinking. And that, you know, obviously with drinking, my emotions were just everywhere. I was crying because of the fact that what the friend just told me, you know? Like, I was crying over that. And I was just, like, mad, like, why he would do something like that. Like, I knew from, like, right off the bat that something was up, and I was just crying about that. I basically called him and I said, hey, we're done. Like, we're breaking up. I'll call you when I get home, like, tonight. And he goes, we're not broken up. Can you call me when you have a chance? I'm going to stay up till you call. And I go, no, I can't. You guys, and if any of my influencer friends are watching this, you know that I was fucking a mess at that one club. I was, like, crying. And I was also, like, telling my friends, like, what was happening. Yeah, I was just, like, really a mess crying at the club. I went home that night because I wanted to call him why I was crying and why we're breaking up. But yeah, I said all of this. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to hear you at the club when you leave though, when you're on your way. But and he was just basically saying like what's going on. I said, I don't know, fuck this, fuck what. That's when I came home, and I called him. I called him about the situation, and he was basically, the way this man was his manipulation tactics was so fucking crazy. He was basically saying, wait, what? You met up with, you know, my friend? Like, was this the whole point why you went to LA? He basically ignored everything that I said. I was like, did you actually do this with him? He admitted everything. He said yes to everything. But he wasn't looking at the bigger picture. He was basically saying, why the fuck did you meet up with my friend in LA? Like, was this the whole reason why you wanted to go there? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why are you not, you know, like, what are you not understanding? Like, this is crazy. Why are you blaming this on me? Anyways, yeah, he kept avoiding it. And I basically told him that, you know, like, I'm breaking up over the phone. Like, I'm, like, done. I basically told him that we're done. Like, you know, when I come home, we'll talk more about it, but we're just done. I basically said, yep, we're done. You have two options. And I basically called him again after that, and I was like, it's either you could get the fuck out of the house now, or you could wait until I get home. And then he goes, please give me one more, I guess, chance. And he goes, I love you, please don't leave me. And I was just, he kept calling and calling when I was there, and I just basically, like, ignored it. I was like, stop calling me, dude. Like, what do you want? And February 23rd, he goes, I just can't believe all the love is just thrown out. Bitch, what love? What love? Bitch, you were already cheating on me. I felt like, and he's just saying that because to make me feel bad. I feel like there was no love. This whole time there was no fucking love. If you went to Houston and wanted to do that with your friend, you did not love me. You know what I mean? Like, what? Anyways, I basically texted him and I go, I think you're going through stages of breakup, which the first one was grief and now you're in denial. Like, it's actually scaring me because the third stage is bargaining. Then fourth, depression, then acceptance. Please get it through your head that we're not together anymore. And I said his name. I'm not going to put it there. And he goes, nope. This man in his head thinks that we were still together. And I said, you're fucked up for that. You're not letting me be happy. And then you're posting. Oh, he posted something on his story. He was basically victimizing himself. Like, he basically said, oh, I'm not good enough for my boyfriend, da da da. And mind you, all his friends and family were seeing this. And his mom also saw that. His parents and his friends were texting and saying, "Oh, Lord is a piece of shit. Why would Lord, why is Lord making you cry?" He was basically posting him fucking himself, like crying online, and like making me like I was the bad guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I told him to like, that's so disrespectful. February 25th, he called me drunk, and that was also, the day that I was leaving home. That I was leaving LA to go home. He called me drunk, and he was basically saying, I'm sorry. And he said, we'll talk about it when I get back, but please, I'm low-key begging you to not do and say things to win me over. If you really cared about my feelings, you would respect that. And he goes, I feel like my Lord is still in there. I don't know what the fuck he was saying. I felt like he was just, all over the place. And I still did care for him. I was like, are you still doing okay? And then, yeah, came home that night. I had a talk with him. We had this deep talk, and after the talk, he basically manipulated me into staying with him. I didn't want to stay with him, but it's like he said he will change. He will change. He will change. He will change. And I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to keep doing this, But he said that he'll change, so there I am. Stayed with him. Yeah, stayed with him. Fast forward. February 27th is also in the midst of all this. I was also going back and forth with the realtor of the place that I wanted to get, and the realtor or whatever, is that what you call it? He said that like if I don't get the place now, someone is gonna get it. So on February 27th is when I signed the lease for the house here in Houston. Yeah, I basically got it, and thinking about it now, that was also one of the most stupidest things I did in my life. Hold on, let me take a break. On March 4th, we had sex. After we had that sexual intercourse, like right after, I don't know where he pulls out his phone, and I'm like, what the fuck? Put your phone away, like what are you doing? He said that, oh, I'm not doing anything, because I thought in my head he was taking a picture or a video or whatever the fuck. And he said, oh, I'm just texting someone really quick. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I didn't really think nothing of it then, but now that I think about it, he was just keep watching. It'll make sense when I talk about it. Anyways, he did put the phone away, but he was like this, like acting like he was texting someone. Anyways, fast forward, March 7th, he wanted to meet up with a friend of, I don't even know if it was a friend. Now that I think about it, I feel like it was a fucking sugar daddy. He said it was a senator. He said that he wanted to talk to him about something for like an advocate. I'm like, you're not making sense. He was also great at lying. That was the first red flag that, I don't know, it wasn't even a red flag. I also found it like very, very disrespectful. Like, why are you, seeing someone and like, obviously he didn't really give a fuck because we weren't together, but it's like, you're still at my place, you're still at my house, why are you gonna go and see someone? He basically insisted and said, I don't really give a fuck about what you gotta say, I'm gonna go see this man. I'm like, okay. And he said that he just wanted to like talk to him, I guess. Anyways, I was like, hey, you doing okay? On March 8th, I was like, are you staying there tonight? Because I thought he was gonna come home. He said, yeah, I am, thank you for checking, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. But I said, sounds good. And he goes, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm gonna hang out with Lucy, which is my best friend. And he goes, see my story? He basically posted a fucking story, like a food picture, I don't know. And I don't know where I go. I thought you left the truck keys, lol. I was gonna let my brother Dandy get something from Walmart because Lord had the car. I feel like he the whole time I was together with this man, he was smart, he had a plan, he knew what he was doing. He basically said, I don't know why I brought them, I'll be there tomorrow. Knowing damn well he brought them because he didn't want anyone else to fucking drive the truck when it's my literal truck, And I go, it's fine. And he goes, I'm sorry. Anyways, I basically had enough, and my best friend was basically telling me like, "Why are you letting this happen? You know, you're the dumbass for letting him go." And I'm like, "I didn't let him go. He wanted to go." My best friend was basically telling me that's so disrespectful to you and your siblings because he's gonna come home too at your place after that happens. God knows what he was doing with that man. I don't know what he was doing with that guy. And I basically sent him a text, and then I said, I wanted to wait until you got here in person to say this. But one thing about me is I'm impatient, so I'll just say it. Everything you're doing is actually such an insane ick and crazy how you're doing all of this so soon after you just got out of a relationship, LMAO. Yes, you told me that you were gonna be gone, this and that, but how am I supposed to know that you're actually with a senator? LMAO. And you stayed the night there, and God knows what you did with him. But I want you to know that I actually do not care what you do at the end of the day. But you do know what I care, my self-respect and my worth. When you come home, I'm just gonna find it disgusting that you're gonna be laying down in my bed or you're gonna be in my house after what you did out there. It also really just clicked to me how you said you yelled. He also, before he left, he yelled at my brother for something. I don't know why. I think my brother, Lord, wanted to like use the truck to go somewhere, to like drive somewhere, to go get something. But he said, no, you're not driving that. And I was like, what the fuck? Anyways, when I was at my best friend's place, that was just so crazy, like disrespectful because Lord told me about it and I was just like mad. Anyways, I just want you to know that you will never be able to manipulate me if that's what you've been trying to do. I don't know why I said that, and I've already been manipulated hundreds of times. If that's what you've been trying to do, I have no sympathy for you. His name, LMAO. It's also crazy how you took the damn keys to the truck, knowing that we would have needed it. You know, you know what you were doing, and you didn't just forget to leave it here. A part of me really just wants to book you a plane ticket to Houston so I can just move on. I really can't when you're in the house with me, but a part of me also don't want to because I feel bad for you. And don't even get me started with your excuse of I stayed here to help y'all. He was saying how the whole time we were together, he said that he stayed here in Houston to help me and my siblings. And I'm like, what do you mean help with what? You bitch, you weren't doing anything. Helping with what? Because that's what the excuse he would always be making is that like, oh, I could have easily went back to, to Houston if it wasn't for you, but I stayed here because of you and your siblings because I was helping you guys. What were you helping? You weren't helping shit. I could have been with you gaslighting, LMAO. Do you know what I actually did for you before you pulled all this shit? I paid for your rent twice, gave you $3,000 when you went to Houston, and so much more shit before you went there. Because I loved you, but fuck that and you. I also really don't want you living with me in Houston, and I say that with a burning passion because, one, that's just fucking weird when we're not together. Also, I told him because I already had the what do you call this? I already like signed the contract for me, getting the house here in Houston, and I didn't want him, with me, and it's that would be weird. Like what? And I say that with a burning passion because one, that's just fucking weird when we're not together, and two, you're low-key taking advantage of me with that because you have a place to stay. He actually said that he wanted to stay, at that obviously this house that I'm in right now because he said that he would be pitching in for rent. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you're pitching in for rent. I just don't want you. That's weird. Like, I don't want you here. Anyways, I'm really at my ends and wits with you. Really, I also found myself so productive and doing a lot yesterday when you weren't here. I filmed until the sun went out, and it's crazy because I can't do that when you're here and you're low-key one of the people that's also holding me back from my career. That was true. When he was gone, I was just filming. Like, I was just busy. And I love that about me because when he was there, I couldn't do shit. I feel like I'm babysitting a child. Crazy how I'm still giving you a place to stay, food to eat, being comfortable after you cheated. But I guess it's just as me as a person. I'm so sweet and I really don't deserve any of this. And he ignored everything I said. And he goes, he just likes having someone around. And I didn't do anything with anybody here. That's all he said after I said all of that. And he goes, we will talk more when I get there. I'm driving. And then he goes, I'll be at Lucy's, my best friend's. So we'll talk when I get back home. Because I didn't want to see him when he gets back there. Like, I wanted space. On March 10th, me and him had a conversation. After that, I went home, obviously. Then I think, this was the next day. I had a conversation with him that I wanted him out the house, obviously, because we were, done already. And me being nice, I told him that I'm willing to, give you a month to figure your shit out. Because, obviously, I didn't want him to just, I didn't want him to, obviously, where is he gonna go? You know, like he didn't have the money to go back to Houston because I told myself I was done with that. Yeah, and I told him I was gonna give him a whole month to pack his shit, you know, figure his shit out and leave the house and go back to Houston. Fast forward, March 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 was just like every other day. But this time, the love with him, the love that I had for him was fucking gone. It was gone. It was out the window. It was gone. So it was just weird having him around. And yeah. Anyways, fast forward, March 17th, I was at my friend's house. We were just hanging out, you know, watching a movie. This was my best friend, Lucy. Until, out of instinct, I checked his location. And the address that he was at looked familiar. You guys, the location that he was staying at was the place of my ex situationship's house. And I say ex situationship because that me and him didn't really have anything going on. You know, he also fucked me up mentally. But yeah, I was talking to this guy for like a month and then that was it. And obviously I've been to his house before, so I remember the address. When I checked his location, he was at that guy's house. I was like, what the fuck? I was shocked. I was like, wait, what is he doing there? You know what I mean? I was pissed. I was mad because it's like, you're staying in my place and you're doing all of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? So I basically told my best friend to drive me to my place. Like, obviously, like, I told her, like, hey, let's go. Like, I'm gonna go back home. She came with me. I saw that the truck was there, that my vehicle was still there. So I was like, wait, how did he get to his place? It's either Uber or the fucking guy picked him up. The guy picked him up because that's what he told me when I'm just gonna keep explaining it. Just keep listening. I basically told him to get the fuck home, like get home now, like you know, like I don't know what you're doing. I didn't give a fuck what he was doing. I didn't care any of the things he was doing, but coming home to my place after is just disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like what? Like, please at least have manners and respect. I basically told him I can book him. Oh, anyways, yeah, he had the truck keys with him. Obviously, he always wants the fucking truck keys with him. When he came home, I told him to give me the truck keys. He gave it to me. And I told him that I can book him a plane ticket back to Houston. And I told him I was willing to do a, what do you call this? One of those, like a moving company delivery for all his stuff. I was willing to do that for him. And I was willing to also book him a plane ticket as early as tomorrow. He was down for that. He said, okay, like, you know, that's good. I was just basically like mad at him. Like, you know, why would you do this? You know what I mean? Like, you're still at my house doing all of this. Like, what? Anyways, I slept in my sister's room that night. He slept in my room because obviously I'm not gonna sleep with him, because that just happened. And I took the keys from him. March 17th at 4 or 5 p.m. he said that where are the keys? I'm gonna go get something to eat. I gave it to him obviously because he wanted to go get something to eat. I just gave it to him. When he came back, he said that his mom called him and he said that one of his family, I think he said his grandpa, his grandpa was hospitalized. Out of nowhere, like, this is all happening, like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And then at first I didn't believe him, so I was like, okay, let me see like the history with like your mom actually calling you. He showed me obviously like his mom like calling him, but I felt like that was just an excuse, you know what I mean? Like, that was an excuse. I felt like he was lying about that too, now that I think about it. Like, he actually didn't have one of his family hospitalized. I feel like that was his mom's fucking, I guess, plan. I guess his mom was with him on this story. I don't fucking know. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting like mad. Sorry. Anyways, he said that, I was basically saying, okay, I can book you a plane ticket right now then. And when I was checking the plane tickets, there was one, but it was like at night. And it was like at 4, it was like in the evening, like 5 o'clock. And he said, no, I need to get there now, like as soon as possible. This was the dumbest thing that I've ever fucking done. I should have told my siblings first, you know, for like, what should I do? Like, should I do it? Like, should I let him go? I didn't do any of that. I basically told him, okay, take the truck, take some of your stuff and go then. You know, obviously because I believe him. When it comes to family, go. Like, go. Like, basically told him to take the truck, but I told him that when I get to Houston, because obviously this was in the month of also like me moving. I told him that when I get back to Houston, I was literally begging him. I was like, please drop the car off at my, like the house, like the driveway, like when you get there. He basically said, yes, I will do that. Like, I will do that, I promise. that same evening, I sent him a text. And I basically said, not trying to be a dick, but it's such a coincidence that this is all just happening out of nowhere, especially with what happened last night. And then I said his name. I hope you have nothing up your sleeve or planning on doing something sneaky, because you know I can go above and beyond when it comes to my things. Please respect and give me this one thing, and that's the vehicle. On March 20th is when I also sent him another text. I said, I don't want you to come back here to help us, because he called me out of nowhere and he said, hey, I'm planning on like coming back. Like I want to come back. Knowing damn well, he said that he was going to come back to help with, you know, move the stuff. Knowing damn well he wasn't going to fucking do that. And I know he wasn't going to do that because he wanted to stay there in Houston. But yeah, I basically said, I don't want you to come back here to help us. We got it, trust me. I'm trying to really not have any contact with you. I also didn't want him to come back because I didn't want any contact with him. And then I said, hence why I haven't called you for anything. And then I said his name, please respect this as I'm trying to move on. And then I sent him another text on March 22nd. I sent him another text. And I said, hey, I said his name, I'm gonna need the truck when I get to Houston, and I'm being that ass. Lord is staying here until May. He was staying here until May for personal reasons I can't say. And I'm not trying to get a rental, like a rental car for 2 months because Lord, because we obviously we have a vehicle, and Lord had to obviously like keep the vehicle in Casper because he was gonna stay there, so we wouldn't have a vehicle. Obviously we have the U-Haul truck to go back to Houston, but that's what the fuck. And then I said that I basically was trying to tell him, I said that I need to get a rental for 2 months when I'm there. It's a waste of money. And I also said it's crazy because I was gonna call sign for my brother when I was telling you guys for a car before I met you, but my dumbass did it for you instead of him. I've done enough for you when we were together, and the least he could do is give me my vehicle. Please don't have me go beyond for that vehicle. I've done literally a lot for you in this relationship, and you can at least respect my decision for this one. I'm not gonna sit here and beg you because I ain't about to do all that, so let me know what you're wanting to do. He goes, call me. Because he called me after I sent him that text, and he said, this is also my vehicle. You're not getting this. This is also my vehicle. Like, you're not just gonna get it. I was mad because it's like, what do you mean? Like, obviously I know it's also under your name, but I want to refinance it like under my name, you know? He goes, I'm done talking to you. And he goes, why bro? Stop acting like a kid. Give me a call. And I go, I'm not your bro, but let me know if you want to go this far with the vehicle because I'm willing to. This is actually so sad. Like, you don't feel the secondhand embarrassment. I feel like your goal with this relationship was to use me and get a vehicle until I was left empty. Oh, wait, sorry. Sorry, I said it. Sorry, I had to cut that because I said his name. I did so much for you, and you can't even give me my vehicle back. Tell me why I knew you were gonna pull this when you went there. I knew it. I still can't believe I let you go though. You know why I let you drive out there? Because of your vehicle. Because I cared for you and your family being in the hospital. I felt like that was fucking a lie, and I said I hate you. And I said paid your rent twice. Gave you money when you. I think I paid for his rent 3 times. I don't know. Gave you money when you went to Houston by yourself. Bought you a phone. What else? Oh, what else? You guys, I also bought this fucker a Nike glasses because I had prescription glasses. This is off topic, by the way. And I needed to get new glasses, and those Nike glasses was like, I think like $900 or something. He was also blind. He also needed prescription glasses, but he didn't have one. So I also bought him one as well. Like, it was the same thing, so we could be twinning. So I bought him that too. And that shit was expensive as well. Anyways, and I said, and this is how you do me. And on March 29th, I sent another text and I said, I'll take your left unread as an answer. Oh wait, this was March 26th is when we started moving to Houston, and I got there on March 29th. I basically called him, he wasn't answering. Like, I kept calling him, he wasn't answering. He didn't even answer to any of my texts. And I said, I'll take your left unread as an answer. You're having me spend $1,500. It was actually more than that. You guys, I had to get a rental car because there's no vehicle. You know, like, I didn't have the truck with me. I didn't have the vehicle for a rental car for a whole month because of you. And I basically told him I'm filing a police report. And he goes, first off, I'm a little busy at the moment. I'll reply when I have the time in like 30 minutes. Expect a call. Bitch, who do you think you are? Sorry, I'm just getting mad. And I said, never mind, there's no point of calling you back. I'm not going to argue and go back and forth with you. Anyways, on April 2nd, I contacted the cops. I couldn't file a police report because they basically said that, because I wanted to file a police report to report it stolen. Obviously, the cops basically said that I can't file it stolen because it's also under his name. So they basically said that I needed to go to court, get a judgment, and civilly go against him. You guys, I did not know any of that stuff. I'm not good with any of that stuff, and I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. And you know, like, I didn't know what to do. I just felt lost, and it's like I just didn't know what to do. On April 23rd, I don't know what made him do this. You guys, I'm gonna take a break. Hold on. Okay. On April 23rd, obviously I was checking social media every day because I want to know. I was checking my social media because I wanted to know where my vehicle was. I didn't give a fuck about him. I just wanted to know where my truck was. And I don't know where I checked his Twitter. I basically checked his Twitter and I found that do you guys remember when I said that on March 4th, remember when he took his phone out? He did take a picture and videos. I don't know if it was a video or just a picture. I checked his Twitter and he basically had my face on there and basically said, who wants to see their favorite TikToker? I don't even want to read it. You guys could read it. I'm gonna try to like censor the picture, but yeah, that's my face right there. Anyways, this picture basically had an emoji. Obviously there's an emoji because I'm blocking it, but he also had an emoji on top of my private parts. And it was basically like, I feel like he was trying to like gain like money like off of me. I didn't click the link because I didn't want to see that. And I don't know if he even like, I don't even know if it was just a bait or to piss me off, or I don't know, but I didn't click that link. I was just shocked because after everything I did for him, and when I saw this, my heart dropped, and it had like 11,000 views, like people looking at it. I was just like shocked. I didn't know what to do. I basically called the cops. I called the cops on the 24th, the next day. I filed a police report because obviously they said that this was illegal. I filed a police report. I got a case number. And they said that they would get back to me within a few weeks. And I said, okay, please do. Thank you. From this moment on was when I was stressing out because it's like he was ruining my reputation. Anyways, on April 30th, I got a lawyer. I told him everything. Told him everything from the OnlyFans to the vehicle. Just those though. And then fast forward May 7th, my lawyer sent him a demand letter for the return of the property and cease and desist. It wasn't for the OF. It was for the vehicle and the cease and desist. He didn't respond. They didn't respond. He basically didn't respond, and like I feel like he's seen the demand letter, but he didn't give a fuck. On May 25th, I saw that the truck has been damaged. It was posted on his Twitter again, on his X. I don't know. I also sent my lawyer like a text of what happened. There was a picture on his account and it looked like my truck, and he fucking damaged it. It was damaged. And then she basically said, he hasn't responded to our demand letter. Have you heard from him? And I said, unfortunately not. I said no, like I didn't. Because the last thing I want to do is fucking talk to him, Anyways, on June 15th, yeah, he hasn't responded to the letter, to the demand letter. And then on June 27th is when I asked my lawyer what are the next steps. And yeah, because he was not responding to anything, and I wanted to file the lawsuit, at our earliest convenience. That's what I said. And also, you guys, I had no idea filing a lawsuit, having a lawyer, having demand letters, sending a cease and desist was so expensive. You guys, I've spent thousands, like so much fucking money on hiring a lawyer. I did not know it was this expensive, and I just really wanted my vehicle back, and I just wanted to. I just really wanted this to be over, and I guess you could say I just wanted revenge, like, you know. And then she basically said, "Hey, filing this suit is the only step from here. Is that what you would like to do? We can start drafting if you'd like. We will need a new engagement agreement since the last one was only for demand. I can do that tomorrow, and we can draft next week. Just say the word." Um, they started drafting the lawsuit for everything. Um, on July 19th, not that same day. On July 19th is when I signed the contract regarding the possession of the vehicle, and this was only for this was only for hold on. Yeah, this was only for this was the loss. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. This was the contract, the lawsuit for everything. This was for the vehicle and the OF and for the for like just everything for also like cause like what was it, what's the word, I forgot what the word is, like causing like stress, because to be honest you guys, I was so fucking stressed. I was so depressed. I forgot what it's called, but I was also suing him for that. I forgot what the word is called. On October 17th, the company of the truck wherever I got the loan from sent me an email basically saying it's getting repossessed, the truck, and I basically told the lawyer if I should be making payments to avoid the repossession because it's past due, you know. I basically told her that, and then I said, she said, we need to give notice to your ex. Our repo could really hurt your credit, though it's likely been damaged. You guys, my credit score has already been damaged before this. And I stopped making the payment because it's like, what's the point? And I thought stopping the payments, you know, the reason why I also stopped making payments is because of the fact that like I just didn't want him to have that truck, and knowing that it would trigger the company where we got the loan the loan is from the truck, it would trigger them to, you know, take the truck away from him and all that. But I didn't know it was also hurting my credit. Anyways, on December 6th, also, I basically told the lawyer, I said, yes, it'll damage my credit, which it already did from not making payments. They actually contacted me through the phone because they were wondering where the vehicle were at, and I said, I don't have it. My ex has it. And I couldn't provide them any information because the vehicle is nowhere near around me. It was with him, you know. On December 6th, the company reached out to me because they said that they're gonna sell and auction the truck because no payments have been received, so they're just gonna auction it. It was a notice for the collateral because I broke the promises to the agreement. On December 9th, I received a letter saying that he crashed the vehicle on October 14th. And the insurance company wanted to make me pay $12,417.87 for the damage claim. I didn't pay that because I also told them, I reached out to them over the phone and I told them that, you know, I was dealing with a lawsuit with him, and I also told my lawyers about this. Made a deductible of $500 to buy myself some time to basically secure the policy. I also told my lawyers about it, and they said that they would be, you know, talking to them, sending them an email on my behalf because there's a pending litigation with the situation that I'm currently dealing with. On February 4th of 2025 is when they filed the petition for court, and this was for everything. This was for the truck, for the OF leak that he did of me, and for basically everything. And yeah. Anyways, the company of the vehicle, you know, for the loan of the truck reached out to me and called me, and they said that they sold the vehicle for $20,690. And that was that. There was that. And they said that there's a remaining balance of $18,633, and they said that I had to make, you know, I have to pay the difference. If not, it's gonna go to collections, and it's gonna damage my credit. And I asked them if I make this payment, would it be done? Like, would everything be, go back to normal? And I said yes, like my Reddit score would be updated and they would close the account. Basically saying that the vehicle would be done and over with, I ended up paying the difference. I also asked my lawyer and my team for advice if I should do it, and they said that that's up to me. Obviously the truck is connected to my name, so I ended up paying that much amount of money to pay the difference for it. But yeah. And no one knew I was dealing with this. I didn't even bring any of this on social media because you guys know me behind my character. Throughout this whole situation, I was just going through a lot, and when I was going through all of this with what I'm telling you guys now, I would be filming TikTok videos with my characters, because to me it was an escape. It was an escape for me to, be free, to just not think about this, When I would be making videos online for TikTok, it would just be an escape for me to, not worry about any of this. That's from the moment he cheated, and he cheated, and he cheated, and he cheated, and he cheated. I just gave him so many chances, and yeah, for me to find hope again, I would just, film my skits on TikTok. And no one knew about this because I was always just smiling, and I would always be laughing, and I told myself that I'm really good at putting up a mask. I'm so hurt. Obviously you guys didn't know any of this was happening because I didn't want to tell you guys, because I didn't want you guys to see me differently. And that's why it took me so long to record this video and tell you guys. To some people, it may not seem like it's a big deal, all of this stuff, because people have it worse, But to me it is. Because one, it ruined me mentally and it traumatized me. And two, the amount of money that I've spent on him and this relationship and just overall everything. But yeah, that's my story, and I feel like this happened to me, to also warn you guys that there's people out there like him who are like this. That's why I also wanted to make this video. And I feel like God put me in this situation to help you guys out too. Sometimes, every night, I'm always thinking, why did this have to happen to me? I already had such, such a sad, growing up, I already had such, a sad story, and, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? Growing up, I already was in a toxic household where my parents would always be fighting every other day. Why add on to that? But yeah, I feel like I just truly, I let it go on for so long because I just truly love this man. Before I end this video, I have one more thing I want to do. And I want to read. I wrote a letter to my ex because I have a feeling he's watching this, and if you're watching this, I have a message for you. And I'm just gonna read it. Hold on, let me clean up myself really quick. Sorry you guys, I'm crying. If my ex is watching this, this is for you. I just want to say thank you for teaching me to never trust someone like you ever again in my life. Do you actually know how much I did for you and how much I actually truly loved you before you pulled all the shit you did? I regret going anywhere with you, especially those vacations I spent with your ass because shit wasn't genuine. You loved it because you were having fun. I'm slowly realizing that you were only with me because of how much I provided for you while you pretended to love me. Because you wanted to reap the benefits. I know deep down you didn't really care about me, and I'm such a clown for giving you so many chances. I really regret being with you and wish I could turn back the clock, but you know what? I'm just gonna take this as a life lesson. I hope you know that you scarred the fuck out of me with the things you've done. You were a fucking trap, and I fell for it. I should have seen this coming. You're a scam and a manipulator. I hope you sleep so much better at night with the shit you did thinking that you were quote unquote loyal while you were with me. I should have trusted my gut from the very beginning. But I didn't, and the endless sleepless nights was me just hurting, and you did not give a fuck. You used me until you got what you wanted. You're a piece of shit, and I want you to know that. You were nothing until you met me. I can't believe that I even brought the presence of my friends around you. I forgot to put friends and family. You're disrespectful and so jealous of everything that I hadn't owned. I did my math correctly, and I can't believe I spent so much money on you. You did teach me one lesson though. It's that money can't buy love. After everything I've given and provided for you and you were never satisfied. I hope that you will always remember that no one will ever take care of you like I did. I decided to get you a vehicle after you got laid off and decided to let you live in my house for almost 5 months with no work. Is how much I loved you. I'm so stupid for staying with you for so long. You took and used my kindness for weakness. I also loved you so much that I decided to go out of my way and spend and stay up to prepare and celebrate your birthday that first week of meeting you and showered you with gifts that I couldn't even do for myself or my siblings. You knew you could benefit from me is why you stayed that long in that relationship. I should have given up on you for a long time ago when you cheated, but I'm such a fool for staying. That's when I realized that not everyone has the same heart as me, and the right person will never have me questioning myself. You affected such a big part of my mental health, and I hate you for that. You hurt me so much and you did not deserve me. You were the toxic environment I walked away from, and I'm so glad I did. I was here at your most vulnerable moments, and I tried fixing what was broken with you, but I ended up breaking myself in the process at the end of it. I should have known that once you do it, you'll do it again. You're a cheater and will always be one. I feel sorry for your next relationship. I've also slowly realized after being with you is that being nice doesn't get you loved, it gets you used. The version of who I saw in you, and who I created only existed in my head. Because you lied about everything. I hate you with every fiber of my body. Actually, I don't hate you. I refuse to give you power over me. I hate the shit that you did, and I hate the actual person you are. But I do forgive you. But I can forgive you for myself because I refuse to treat the next guy that actually loves me like shit because of something you did. I'm gonna continue to love. I'm gonna love hard. What's for me will find me. Watch. You guys, I think I need to take a break. Hold on, let me wipe my tears. Sorry. I'm just an emotional wreck right now. I also wanted to make this video so that if any of you out there are with someone like this, please don't make the same mistake that I did. I was blinded. I was ignoring all the red flags because I wanted to see the good in the person, and everything just backfired. People will treat you how they want, regardless of how much you love them. And they will always do you like that. I wrote some things here in my notes. I just want to tell you guys before I end the video. When people show you their true colors, believe them the first time. And don't be naive. Because you see the best in somebody, or you can change that person. You can't. You can't. And that's what I wanted to do. He didn't love me. He loved what I did for him. And that was the truth. And I will forever believe that the pain others inflict on us, on me, on you, is how badly they treat themselves. And you also can't change a person who sees nothing wrong in their actions. One more thing. that I wanted to say was going through something like this, something this rough, something this crazy, teaches you so much, but also for the right reasons. I would always be recording videos of me crying to look back at those times where, you know, I was at my lowest. And I mean, I still am, but I'm trying to heal, and I'm really trying my hardest to forget any of this happened. Oh, I also wanted to give you guys an update on, I forgot, I didn't give you guys an update. 2 weeks ago is when I also had a Zoom meeting with my lawyers. They basically said that they couldn't find his address. When they were sending those demand letters, obviously, I knew an address of where he may possibly be, because obviously when we met, he told me where, you know, he lived at, like, you know, like before. I mean, when he was living in Houston. That's why, you know, he was getting those demand letters. But for the actual lawsuit, they couldn't serve him because they don't know where he lives. They tried the address that, you know, they had when they sent those cease and desist, but it didn't work. I don't have an update on that yet, and I can't speak any more on it because, obviously, for legal reasons. One more thing I want to say before I end this video is trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. And always remember, now that I learned my lesson, be with someone that enhances you, not someone that tries to dim your light because they're dull. I was a ray of sunshine, and he tried extinguishing it, you know? You can do everything for someone and they can still not respect you. As much as it hurts, you have to stand tall and remember it's not you, it's them. But being hurt like this has become a part of my life, yet it's made me as incredibly strong, independent, happy as I am today. I also felt like I needed to film this video so that I could just put it in the past and move forward with my life. And I also wrote something here. My notes is like my best friend, like the notes app is like my best friend. And I also wrote this. I'm grown enough to admit that due to the things that I was put through in life, I'm a hard person to deal with. Sometimes I overthink and worry. I'm very hard to understand sometimes. I'm beyond territorial. I self-sabotage and require a lot of patience. But I also know that I can love like no other. I can give you the world as mine is falling apart. I'm loyal and my heart is pure. I don't give up on people until I have no choice but to. And that's really who I am as a person. The way people treat you is a direct reflection of who they are as a person or as a whole. It's so hard to date and find someone who's willing to put in the same effort as you. It really is. At least for me, you know, that's my opinion. And one more thing, I know I keep dragging this, but I just really have like, you know, stuff to say. Focus on you. Focus on you. I also wrote this on my phone. Love in this generation is dead. Or at least dying. I don't know. Stop trying to find that boyfriend or girlfriend. You just end up even more miserable and mentally ruined. We live in a generation where cheating is normalized. Everybody on the hustle, and more of the story is that love makes you weak and it ruins you. And I'm speaking on personal experience, by the way, so please don't take this, you know, to heart. If someone's willing to let you go, then leave, because all they're gonna do is go on to the next person, then the next after that. The way you fought to keep them, and they're just willing to throw you away, shows the love was only one-sided and they clearly see you as replaceable. Anyways, I feel like God turned my favorite person into a lesson, and He did. He really did. Also, when you guys see me cry or when I get emotional online, it's because of how I grew up and the stuff that I had to endure and the stuff I had to face, you know, growing up. Growing up, I was a sibling that had to step up, if that makes sense. Like, for example, if my parents were, you know, yelling at each other and just arguing, I would be the sibling that would be like, to my other siblings, I would be like, hey, like, you know, like, let's cover your ears. Like, we don't want to hear this. Let's put on some music. Let's go play a game. I would be that sibling. And that was the summary of me growing up. And when you guys see me crying or stuff like that, it's because of how I grew up and this trauma that I just told you guys. And I feel like our body holds on to trauma. So whenever I feel anxious, so whenever you feel anxious or depressed, whenever I feel anxious or depressed, I know that I'm going through some, like, I was, you know, my body's reminding me, like what I went through. Like, my body's like remembers. So when I'm having anxiety attacks or, you know, depression, I know it's the trauma, you know. Sometimes I do randomly cry because I'm healing and I always get flashbacks of everything of what I had to, you know, deal with growing up. I really am trying to forget this story that happened to me, but I know for a fact that it'll always be in the back of my head. It'll always haunt me. To wrap the story up, now that, you know, I've come this, you know, far with, you know, with my story, I for real really realized I only like the person I made up inside of my head. Like, that's who I, you know, who I liked. And that's why I kept giving him chances after chances and chances. Rotten fruits will always fall on its own anyway, so him being him is karma enough. That's my story, and if you guys stayed this far to watch this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm just glad that I got this out of my chest. I wanted to talk about it because there's not a day that goes by that I think about this. It was eating me up. It was eating me alive. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this YouTube video. I hope you guys don't see me any different. I'm still Lord. Thank you guys so much. I love you, and if you have any questions, I will try my best to answer everything under the comment section. But yeah, I love you guys so much.